Creatures crawl into the underworld. Afterlife, an abyss protects you. In the light, goddess of the sun brings you life. A deity, best it is her name. Come learn the ways of man, become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing the mark. Get like mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this is war. In the dark, a river flows. The Nile is so big, power. A morning star is seen in our sight. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. Fly to your destiny. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing the mark. Get like mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this. We rise higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up. We are the kings, we are the queens. We are the gods, goddess of this animation. Turn on the walls, making our mark. 'Cause we are the kings, we are the queens. Let's win this war. In the dark, creatures crawl into the underworld. Afterlife, an abyss protects you. In the light, goddess of the sun brings you life. A deity, best it is her name. Come learn the ways of man, become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing the mark. Get like mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this is war. In the dark, a river flows. The Nile is so big, power. A morning star is seen in our sight. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. Fly to your destiny. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing the mark. Get like mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums.
Hello, governors. Welcome to Osiris League Season 8's Playoff Group Stage, Round 3. I'm your host, Plato Gaming caster and content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and casting alongside me is my good friend Dirty Dan, a fellow content creator and first-time caster. Thanks for being here with me, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Had fun on the first match. Looking forward to this second one. It's looking to be two powerhouses, it looks like, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting match that we got here today. It is going to be the in the realm of Horus Group G, WIB, WIB exclamation point, from Kingdom 1846 versus 1718 from Kingdom 1718. And yeah, we are now in the final day of the group stage, where each of these teams have their final chance to solidify their place in the round of 16 and to continue competing for the title of Osiris League champions. For the case of these two teams, though, they are both 2-0 record-wise, rather. They have 2 wins, 0 losses, as they have both decisively won their games against the rest of the group, NBK and 58H, meaning that they have both made it to the round of 16, the knockout stage of this Osiris League. However, this game is still crucial because it determines the seeding within the group, the winner being the first seed and the loser of this game being the second seed. And that could determine if your first match is going to be a harder match or where you're going to be in the bracket. So Dirty Dan, what do you think of this match going into it?
So I think we can go on past experiences here. It's kind of hard to gauge a little bit when teams go into these initial rounds and they're kind of blowing people out of the water. It's really hard to gain tendencies on them. But 1846 with WIB, I mean, they're a very seasoned Osiris League team, going all the way back from Season 4, last season being ranked 3rd for Season 7 in the realm of Anubis. And then you have 1718, who is ranked 8th last season in the realm of Horus, with this only being their second Osiris League appearance under the 1718 tag. So you got the newcomers on the block with 1718 going against the seasoned vets for Watch It Burn. And looking to hopefully, stamp their name into some OL history here with 1718.
Yeah, 1846 has been a staple of Anubis for so long. They've always been, they made it to the finals one time. It feels like they've always been top 4. But now being in the realm of Horus, it's a different game here. Versing these older kingdoms, 1718. These two teams were unchallenged the past couple of matches. They won by a wide margin. Their opponents only scoring like maybe 7,000, 8,000 points. So with these two teams being unchallenged, this is going to be their first time, I guess, being able to fight an opponent. So it's going to be interesting to see because, we've seen all these games where it's kind of like their first test of Osiris League in this format with these new skills. I mean, they probably practiced against each other, but this is going to be, the first time iron sharpens iron type of situation for both WIB, Watch It Burn, and 1718. Predictions, Dirty Dan. What do you think between these two teams? Who do you got?
I called it last week with the Vita versus JST. JST etching that one out due to experience. I think I'm going to go ahead and call 1846 with a dub here, just based on the vast amount of experience that they have. But also don't sleep on 1718, I believe, being mainly Korean alliance from what it looks like. And Koreans are no slouches in Osiris Leagues, usually having very sound play. So I think it should be a pretty good match, but I'm going to give the victory to Watch It Burn. How about you, Plato?
I mean, WIB has just been such a known kingdom for so long. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna go into the unknown here. I'm gonna go 1718 just to be devil's advocate against you.
Okay.
Let's see if 1718 could pull it out. I think we did watch a couple. I think I did cast a couple of their games last season and it looked pretty solid. WIB is always solid as well. They do have a power advantage with about 500 million power, if I'm seeing this correctly. So If WIB's going to be able to, outpower them, then it might be tough, but we will have to see once we get into the game here as we start going into today's match. Like what kind of strategies will we be looking out for between these two teams? Being 2-0, you kind of have some leeway to experiment, right? Where if you lose this game, you still make it to the round of 16, to the knockout stage. So do we expect anything crazy from both these teams here as we get into the game?
That's a fair call out. Being able to kind of go in and experiment is a really nice take, Plato. I mean, I'm just looking here that 1718 preferring to use some of the farming and provisioning skills. So that'll be interesting to see if we see some of those come into play. Both teams looking like they like to use Valiant Stance. So I'm really going to be curious to see if they're going to kind of show their hands going into these knockout rounds, or if they're going to play a little bit more conservative, kind of maybe not reveal all their full strategies, their full skill usage, or are they going to take the approach of, hey, let's take this on as a true test and really sharpen up as we head into the knockout rounds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually you want to keep those core Osiris League players, no matter what, regardless of the downsizing and whatnot. Those are players that you really hate losing.
Yeah, so apologies. But yeah, there you go. Let us go into this match. 5 seconds left into the match. As the gates have gone down, we start to see the energetics coming out. So this is definitely the meta. Energetics just right out of the gate from 1718. Although WIB kind of, there you go. As soon as I say it, it pops up. But we start to see the double C's, and then we could see the obelisk rallies come out. 1718 coming out with 2 outpost rallies. So we've seen this last game where the outpost ralliers tend to have control of the outpost throughout the game. Maybe 1718 trying to pull off the same strategy that Vita did, and just have control of these outposts throughout the match here.
Definitely something to key on. I think, again, as we stated in the last match, outpost game is extremely undervalued, and especially with that point that you made as well last match, where if you take one of those outposts, the other team cannot see the arc. So we saw that kind of play in benefit for Vita last match, and I think that for those teams that are going for outposts, you're talking about almost 180 point swing per minute if you are able to capitalize and get those generating points for you. So very interesting to see if 1718 is going to keep that pressure on the outpost throughout the entirety of the match.
Oh, give me a sec. So yeah, let us go into this match here. We start to see these obelisks get captured. These rallies starts to come in here. what do you think? Are we gonna see some outer lane play as we've seen in the past? Are we gonna start to see some of that shenanigans with
I think
these two teams?
I think we have to. I think you're gonna.
These two sentries seeing each other. By the way, they're like, hello.
Yeah, and I think those sentries are, you know, to your point, and as you've been calling out, I think a lot more people are starting to respect that outside lane push in the beginnings to kind of set yourself up for a little bit more of a favorable position for those first arc fights.
Oh, sorry. As we start to see these outposts get captured, I'm gonna be curious if these outpost rallies are gonna be trying to capture the outposts, or if they're gonna be trying to go into this inner lane here and try to snipe some of these marches. As we get to see the rallies here from 1718 approaching this desert altar. Whenever I see a cav rally, I question if it's going to actually hit the obelisk, or if it's going to break for the desert altar. Because, you know, usually you run these rallies so that your troops get there super fast, but in a case like this, you're going, like, if you're going cav, then that means, you know, it's already going to be a fast troop. So usually when you see cav rallies, it usually goes straight to the obelisk, because you would want to rally with, you know, archers or infantry, because that tends to be the slower troop type between the two.
Not to mention here 1718 sending even more troops onto that topside obelisk, pressuring WIB, potentially trying to snipe the obelisk and maybe delay some of those teleports coming in.
Yeah, there you go. As we see the rally start to approach this obelisk, there are WIB troops though. They are prepared for this. They do know that, you know, there will be some pressure here.
It's a nice Heraclius in the garrison.
Yeah, they got a nice Heraclius in there. They got troops to fill it. So, I mean, nice try from 1718. Well, actually, the garrison's getting pretty low here. Getting to yellow.
With a few more troops coming from behind from 1718, still on the way. A little low. But either way, also deterring those troops from either going to their initial objective, whether that was a sky altar, going to push onto that sky altar, or going to defend their home desert altar. So still deterring a little bit of troops there in order to keep that obelisk intact so they can maintain those teleports.
Yes, sir. The teleports are coming in, and they were able to fill it. So huge hold from WIB. We'll have to see if that proves to be the difference in the desert altar, because, you know, both teams are putting resources into those areas. Desert altar is going to be opening in about 10 seconds here. We start to see the murder ball from 1718. We could go to the bottom desert altar as well. WIB pushing on that side as well. Although it does look like 1718 does have a lot of troops there, so that should be fine. WIB being able to capture their own desert altar as well. So everything looks pretty standard, although first tap being able to go to WIB, but they should be able to just swarm this down with the amount of 1718 marches straight in front of the desert altar here. So there you go.
Great push.
Pretty
1718.
Pretty standard from both teams. Shrine of Life, though, we were talking about the outer lane structure. WIB have a lot of people at the Shrine of Life. The Shrine of Life might be under pressure. We can see a Jan Heraclius in there.
Yeah, probably trying to get some of those troops down to 0, get back into their cities, get onto that rotation for the middle.
We have 6 minutes left until this mid fight. So in this situation, like, it's kind of a weird timing, right? Where if you're not at the structure, then, you know, what can you really be doing? We see some of these marches from 1718. Like, should we start walking mid? WIB with a really early rotation here. We start to see some marches already walking at the 6-minute mark. So definitely trying to go for this first arc. Like, when usually do you see teams rotate and, I guess, focus this middle structure here, or this middle arc here?
Yeah, this is early. I mean, for me, it was always rule of thumb 5 minutes and you got to get going. So very early from from WIB, and then we can see that 1718 with that rally and swarm presence going up onto the Sky Altar. Maybe to your point again, Plato, putting pressure on the outside lane right before an arc spawn to kind of make the other team decide what they want to do.
This extra pressure, man, it's gonna be interesting. As we said, this might be a call to 1718 going building focus and potentially, right? Where
potentially it does look like it, actually. Yeah,
it's 5 minutes left. You know, this would be a late rotation or late push regardless. I mean, this is only one player. Maybe this player is just dedicated to consistently putting pressure in the Sky Altar. We have seen teams where there's just always that one lingering player just around, making sure that they're honest in the Sky Altar. We've seen this a lot for 1093 and 93T. There'd be a mid fight, but somehow they always take their opponent's altars. So this player just might be that guy as we start to see the swarm here. But there is a player from WIB ready to respond. Desert Altar was retaken by WIB. So overall, the building state seems pretty even. We could see points per minute 70 to 100. The first capture is not taking into effect yet. But you could kind of see Outpost actually going in WIB's favor, which is interesting because 1718 had the introductory Outpost rallies.
Very interesting
so
play, Liddy.
We just had some WIB players walk over to these outposts, capture them. As we start to see, look how many marches are going towards the Sky Altar. And look how many marches from WIB are in this Temple of Osiris area. So
definitely looks like 1718 is playing favor to the structure game a little bit early on here, at least. I'm curious to see what they're going to try to develop later on in the match, if they are going to, I don't want to say they're going to forfeit this first arc, but a lot of resources all over the map for other things like structures.
Yeah, Sky Altar take in, which is huge. We see them holding their Sky Altar as well. But then it comes to the point, right, where there's like maybe 2-3 people here. I would guess that they're not going to go full out for a mid fight. Because, you know, there's so many people in WIB. Their rotation's pretty late. 3 minutes left. WIB's stacking right in front of this arc, which is exactly what you want to do. You definitely want to make sure that you know, you're kind of body blocking the arc and your arc carriers from your opponents.
I'm kind of curious to see with this approach into the middle, with not having as many resources, how it affects the skill game. Because I feel like if you know that you're not sending everything you can, which it looks like it's filling up a little bit more now, and you are still trying to obviously probably utilize those skills, are you going to get empty skill usage if you know that you're not fully committing onto the middle? Very curious.
Yeah. Like there's still marches coming from base to the Sky Altar. So that's how you know. 1718 though, using Total Vision. WIB using Dust Up. So it looks like they are going for this mid fight, even though they don't have all of the resources here. They're just taking the outer lane structures as well. It's kind of like they're going in, but it's not an all in, right? Where you still have people taking structures on other sides of the map. We'll have to say if it pays off. Because yes,
potentially looking for a back end snipe, maybe with some of those later rotations on the structure games, and going for maybe like a pincer kind of approach. But this is very interesting to see from 1718 staying focused on the structure game.
You see Bog Down from 1718. WIB in response with Bog Down as well. We see this Venn diagram of sorts here.
Always with the Bog Downs, I love seeing it.
With the Bog Downs. And it is strategic though, where you put it in the middle of the murder ball, but also in the back, so that the marches here are slowed going towards this murder ball fight. You can start to see like the murder, like especially the the archers here in the back are just super slow going into this mid fight. As we start to see the sad faces coming out from 1718, we said that it wasn't an all-in, but it's looking like a dominant WIB first arc here.
We can peek up top though, Plata. We got 710 minutes in favor of 1718 and for 360 for WIB, so maybe paying off here a little bit. We'll see if it's a long-term play that holds out.
Yeah, we will have to see what happens. We see a 1718 rally coming through the mid fight here. Are they trying to snipe the marches with a outpost rally, or kind of interesting with this rally, the XY rally? So it's definitely not going towards a structure. Hard push for WIB. So it looks like WIB going to try to capture back these structures. I mean, we knew that 1718 wasn't going to win that arc fight with how many people that they have in this outer lane just standing here, making sure that the Sky Altar is generating points for them. But in the contrary, WIB, they're so healthy because of that, how dominant that mid fight is. They're rotating over to this Desert Altar, and they're like, hey, we could just take this if we want to. So they're aggressing onto this Desert Altar, and we'll have to see if this pays off for them.
Should be a decent response from 1718, having those troops wiped in the middle. So they are on the road to refreshing, and they will be slightly healthier than WIB. So might pay off here. 3 altars in hand for WIB.
For 1718, yeah, 1718 generating 3 points from altars. It's gonna be, it's a far cry from last game where both teams went mid focus. And usually when both teams go mid-focus, that means, you know, whoever wins mid wins game. There's going to be some decisions in this match where, you know, WIB, they're doing the right thing, you know, rotating over, taking this Desert Altar, or attempting to take this Desert Altar from 1718. They got to stabilize the points per minute, because the longer that these 3 altars stand for 1718, the better it is for them. So...
Would probably look for a Valiant stand coming in from someone soon.
Yeah, that Valiant stand has been a pretty popular skill. 1 skill point, but it can make or break the hold of a structure.
It's huge.
Increasing the defense of the structure, I believe.
Yeah.
For a decent amount of time. So if your structure is getting swarmed down, you want that little push to make sure that you hold it. Valiant, just pop Valiant stand, and it should be able to hold. At 1718. We saw that mid push from WIB, but like they weren't able to take the Desert Altar nor the Shrine of War, so it's still generating points for them. Points per minute should be in 1718's favor, as they also captured the WIB Desert Altar, so points per minute is hugely in 1718's favor. 740 to 150 points per minute. If WIB don't stabilize their structures, it's gonna be very painful for them.
In this case, Garrison, not ideal, but go ahead, Plata.
In this case, if WIB's holding the arc, like if you're WIB, would you just capture the arc or try to take back your altars? Like, what's the plan for WIB in your opinion?
Oh, catch 22. I mean, you can hold on to it, try to stabilize, but 1718 just looks so aggressive, and even if you cash, you're not even sure if you're going to win that first arc fight, or that second arc fight, I should say, because you didn't really get to see the full force of what 1718 had. So. Man, that 1718 here kind of dictating the flow a little bit by being so aggressive on these buildings. I don't really like the Garrison options though on some of these.
I will say I think they're using Dido or Ditto for these Garrisons, because they rally with archers, so they just have the Garrison of Ditto as a Garrison captain with the rally. If that makes sense.
Fair. Make it a little bit more easy. That protects your Garrison captain, because we saw plenty of times last match where those Garrison captains are marching around the field, and if you're a sound team, you're looking out for those consistently, and you will go and dive onto those guys if you do.
As WIB was able to take back the Sky Altar, so you know that's step 1. But now points are gonna start being generated from their own Desert Altar. So the game is essentially even once there is a 3k point differential here, because the arc is worth 3k. So the longer that this altar is held, the more and more closer to even it gets. If you're WIB, like, what are you thinking? Are you starting to sweat a little bit here, or?
I think a little bit, and you can see even from 1718, I think there's a Jan Hera coming up to replace this garrison here on that desert altar.
Yeah, good call.
Oh, he got it in. They might hold this still if they can get the change.
If they hold this structure, that would be amazing, but Cast Accursed, it is down.
Surprised no Valiants down there. Maybe a little bit earlier, potentially, and that would have held.
Yeah. Potentially holding for a different scenario, but they did what they needed to do. They were able to be disruptive enough to where now the game's essentially even. WIB still needs a couple minutes to start generating points from these altars, so like the game's essentially even. They went building focus, a great counter to the mid focus that WIB went into. You know, WIB was super mid focused when you're rotating 6 minutes into arc spawning. As we start to see the structure stabilize out here, I will say though, the WIB outpost capturers are a bit more active than the 1718 side.
I am surprised at that, especially with 1718 opening up with the rallies, kind of showing their hand a little bit. But yeah, WIB doing a good job of keeping constant pressure on those 1718 outposts.
As we start to see yet another rally on this sky altar, it looks like there aren't any reinforcements nearby from WIB. So this might be a sky altar capture just for free with the rally and then the 3 swarmers here.
Need to get a garrison up there too. Hold those points, hold that altar. One thing I am noticing too, Plato, is that WIB does have 1 provisioner out, it looks like. No provisioners on the field at the moment for 1718.
I'm telling you, provisioning is like a lost art in Rise of Kingdoms with the new fog of war and all that kind of stuff, where it's not that many people learn the spots, right?
Yeah.
It seems like teams are now focusing on, because it is a lot harder to provision with fog of war. Teams are focusing more on just getting as many marches on the open field, getting the pressure there rather than getting some points from provisioning. So outside of 1 E8 from what I've been seeing, as we see the desert altar from WIB, the Henry with I believe Ashban Paul rally has been, I mean, 1718 has been able to flip the structures with it, so I think it's been doing pretty well for the side here. As we start to see, WIB did take the sky altar of 1718, but 1718 in response took WIB sky altar as the arc has been captured. So you could see now it's pretty much a dead even game, 100-point differential between the two teams here, as 1718 was able to take WIB's desert altar yet again, and they have the Ditto garrison that was inside of that rally. So I mean, I really like the strategy of having this just garrison ready within the rallies, having a kind of, I mean, Henry Ashman Paul is kind of swarmable, but at the same time it has some anti-swarm in it as well, keeping that garrison safe, denying like as much points as possible from this structure here in the desert altar, just trying to hold it for as long as possible.
I think that's the name of the game that they're trying to go for. If they can capture and keep, they'll obviously take it. But even just denying those points for a few minutes, for 2 minutes even, that's 300 points that WIB is missing out on. So 1718 doing an amazing job on these structures.
As we start to see WIB trying to take back the sky altar, 6 minutes 30 seconds left until arc spawns. We'll have to see if WIB decides to rotate early again, or if they're going to try to stabilize these structures. But as we were talking about, this outer lane arc is spawning in 6 minutes. The WIB did take the sky altar, so now 1718 has to go towards the Sky Altar, choosing to go towards the Sky Altar, try to recapture it before Arc spawns here, which allows these players, once they sad face, they could start rotating mid. They could, you know, have some tempo here for WIB's side. So I think, like, if you're either team here, like, what's the strategy now?
Yeah, I think you got to get to mid. If I'm 1718, you might have to do an early rotation similar to what WIB did. Get that arc and then hang on to it. If they can get that arc and hang on to it, showing what they have with their structure game, which looks a little bit more impressive than WIB at the moment, about almost halfway into this match, I think that they will be in very, very nice control of this match. If I'm 718, I'm trying to get into that middle as quick as possible, win that middle, hold on to the arc.
So all of the structures flipping, we are now in a dead even spot where it's like a line of scrimmage, and I believe you're going to be correct on this call where both teams are going to start piling for this mid because it's an even game essentially. 1718 has gone structure focused. They've been pretty dominant with the structures. We could look at the occupation score, 11k to 7k, but that one arc score for WIB, making this game pretty even. They are down by 400 points here, but pretty much even otherwise as we start to see the early rotations here from WIB and 1718 marches, seeing the WIB marches here. They're probably going to be having a staring contest for a solid couple minutes here.
Oh yeah, it's going to be your good old Western showdown here. I would be surprised if any team makes a move, although last week in that Vita JST match, which I keep calling back on JST with a very aggressive push. So I wouldn't be surprised. This is a seeding match, but also you know, teams might not want to reveal their entire hand for these later knockout stages.
As both teams trying to get as many players to mid as possible, we start to see the WIB marches here. This is pretty smart. So 1718 doesn't want to sad phase this march, but so this march is like, all right, I'm gonna be as annoying as possible. I'm just gonna start putting some AoE in, and they finally start sad facing the march now. There's like this kind of taboo in Rock or in Osiris League where you kind of don't want to, like, if a march is really low in the opponent's side, unless it's like a Guan Yu with a AoE silence, like, you kind of just want to leave it on the field because it's barely doing any damage, right?
Yep. Tried to express that many times with all the fresh new Osiris League teams coming up. Whenever I wasn't necessarily one of the planners, but one of the guys trying to help these new players learn, and everyone just gets so blood hungry that it's very hard to tell new players not to kill off an entire march. But it's so advantageous when you leave those yellow and red marches on the field and force people to take the time and march back home.
As we start to see 3 minutes left, we have WIB with the positioning advantage right now. Let's see if there's anyone else on the screen. Oh, there is a swarm coming from WIB in this Sky Altar.
Oof, that's
so
huge.
WIB looking to take the Sky Altar, try to get back some points per minute there, with all of the marches going from 1718 going to mid. So WIB will be able to take the Sky Altar, but it will cost them a couple marches here.
Also, on the bottom side, Plato, I believe that there was a swarm on the Shrine of Life.
The Shrine of Life as well, yeah.
Even more resources for WIB 1718 looking to
Bog
take
down,
this middle fight.
Bogdown used, as well as Total Vision. We see Bogdown on Dust Up for WIB. So Total Vision versus Dust Up. This is pretty much an inverse of what happened last match, where 1718 sent all of their players to the outer lane structures. Now it is WIB who sent it to them to the outer lane structures, and 1718 winning this mid fight so far. You start to see the sad faces coming out from WIB.
A lot of 1718 presence there. Got to keep an eye on those marches running down the side too. I don't think 1718 knows up. Now they're engaging. See, I don't think those guys know that they're there. Minute and a half until arc spawns.
1718 with a clean mid fight.
Wow, there we go.
But WIB, they're like, okay, we saw what you guys did last arc. Let's just do the same thing. Let's just go to the desert altar now.
Oh man.
So it looks like these teams kind of like copying each other from last arc rather. With WIB taking the structures and 1718 taking the arc potentially. As we start to see the swarm here from 1718.
1718 starting to rotate down and trying to help that desert altar too. Curious. 20 seconds till arc spawns. They're gonna get that arc. Now it comes to that question: are they gonna hold? Got to defend here though.
Ooh, taken. That's a huge pull. That's a huge take.
And a massive presence coming from up top from WIB too to try and hold that.
Yeah, they are going for buildings like crazy over here.
What a flip. Who would have thought, okay, you're going to do that to me, I'm going to do it right back to you. Well, how insane.
I will say, though, they were able to take the sculptor back. So there is something about that. There is also, maybe WIB is trying to take these structures. They can't insta-cap. And they'll be in danger if they start walking towards their obelisk, because there will be WIB presence on both sides here. We start to see people streaming from the desert altar going to the Shrine of War as well. So it is kind of this. We're not at mid, but we could still pressure the Arc of Osiris here, where WIB doesn't have a forward garrison. That's a problem, though. If they had a garrison for this would be a great strategy. They are still filling this CPO though. This CPO holding on for dear life, trying to make sure that they're able to deny this structure as much as possible. But 1718 able to take it back. They also have the Arc of Osiris coming through.
That would have been an amazing call, Plato. That you were kind of breaking that down as it was happening, but no advanced garrison for WIB. Denies them the opportunity to disrupt that middle presence. WIB looked so strong there. I think that just that lack of the garrison and getting chunked down so quickly really hurt them there.
Yeah, they were filling that CPO rather, but because the CPO wasn't a garrison commander, it wasn't a garrison leader, it actually compromised their open field marchers, I think, where you get in there and you just get instantly like shredded. Meanwhile, there's a Heraclius YSS in here. And it's holding against this big swarm from 1846 here in WIB. As we start to see, the marches are now hitting this double C, trying to make them drop the arc, trying to pressure the arc a little bit here. But it looks pretty safe, at least from my opinion, for 1718, that they're able to stabilize their structures a lot faster than WIB, and I would say it's because they were able to take the Sky Altar pretty easily back from WIB. Meanwhile, WIB kind of had to go through the murder ball that 1718 had prepared. WIB kind of doing the same thing, but they did it with the Desert Altar. And the thing about the Desert Altar is that it's so close to mid, to where 1718 from that one mid fight, they could just rotate over to this Desert Altar and just take it back with ease, essentially. I think that's the biggest difference between the two strategies that I've seen, as it looks like they will be escorting the arc, and it looks like they will be holding at least for a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now. We still have the 1 or 2 provisioners out. I mean, that's going to be about 1,000 points. So I think if the thing is in a 2,000, 1,000, 2,000 point reach, even if it's only a provisioner or 2, those guys are going to make the difference, as WIB is still putting constant pressure onto the outpost as well, and still onto this Desert Altar. So very, very sound structure game from both teams.
It really comes down to these mid fights being the biggest difference here. I like it. It's not like it's give and take from both teams, right? Where WIB was like, okay, they're gonna win mid. We're gonna focus on these structures. We're gonna try to get something from them. Same thing with 1718, where they're like, okay, we're gonna not bring everyone mid. We're gonna try for mid, but we're gonna, you know, go for these outer lane structures. So it's been like a mirrored approach from both sides here. But 1718, in my opinion, having the advantage here, stabilizing the structure game with arc control, especially with this arc being 500 points more than the previous one. This is WIB's time to be like, okay, I'm sweating. But if you're WIB, like, what's the comeback? What's the path to come back from this spot right now?
Pressure, constant pressure. Just keep doing what they're doing, putting pressure on the outposts, putting pressure onto those altars, and just making sure you have those advanced garrisons ready to go, because we can see that did kind of hurt them on that rotation. I honestly think that play right there that you were calling out, Plato, that might have been the play of the match right there, if they were able to have a garrison in this desert altar and then rotate around and steal the arc from 1718. That would have been the play of the match.
These forward garrisons, and they seem to be, you know, what makes or breaks these games, honestly. Because when you take those structures, as you said, you don't necessarily want to be generating points, but as long as you're able to deny them as much as possible, like, that's the biggest goal. That's you know, what you're looking for here. Yeah, as we start to see this Heraclius YSS just holding. And imagine if that Heraclius YSS was in WIB side, with the amount of open field that they had, it could have been a different story.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, like, you know, the biggest thing about these rallies. You're able to hide your garrison inside of the rally. Walking up a Heraclius YSS is kind of daunting. As we've seen in previous games, the game that we just watched, Vita versus 1818 or A818, just targeting rallies or garrison leads whenever you see them out in the open field. If you walk up in a forward capture, for example, if WIB was able to take this desert altar, usually they just instantly start swarming the rallies walking up, or the garrison leads walking up. So that tends to be why you hide the garrison leads inside of the rallies, as we start to see WIB taking the sky altar. So this is step one that you were talking about. The way to come back, the way to, I guess, the pathway to making this game more of an even slate is taking these structures, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So as we see the Heraclius YSS in there as well.
Yeah, they're slowly getting their 1600 point advantage right now for WIB, so they're going to need to open that up a little bit more. Points still an advantage for them, so they are taking the proper steps. They just need to keep going.
1718, I feel like, has been pretty solid with their defense, though. Like, as soon as structure falls, it feels like WIB's not been able to generate points from any altars so far. Just instantly being able to take it back within 2 minutes is huge for them. Denying points from WIB, regaining points for themselves, as we start to see the points differential here, points per minute, 590 to 380 is solid for WIB. They're making that gap to about like 1.8, trying to approach 2k, but with 3.5k in the back pocket for 1718, they're pretty comfortable with where they're at right now.
I'm still shocked that we haven't seen a Valiant stand, or we've seen some hard push from WIB, but still nothing to really kind of help additionally on that on the structure game for either team. As we see
The desert altar from WIB being swarmed down here. I like the focus from 1718. I see a kind of different teams where they would be half focusing on the murder ball, half focusing on the structure. But you could see these 1718 marches don't care about the marches hitting them. Like, all right, we're going straight to the structure, making sure that we have as many people swarming the structure as possible.
Yep.
Is exactly what you need to do to take the structure. Although this structure might not go down, it is a lot of pressure on the WIB side here. You know, just making sure that you have all your firepower going towards the structure rather than some of it going to the open field marches, some of it going to the structure, which we've seen in previous matches.
Yeah, I like the all-in approach. The min-maxing and just going in and swarming a structure has always been pretty sound in my mind. I understand there are times where you have to take care of the open field, but when you're swarming a structure, you're really causing a little bit of a deficiency in the troops that are in there, obviously, and you have to cause the other team to focus a little bit more on the reinforcements, bringing troops down to reinforce, staying diligent, most importantly, on reinforcing. As again, this is top tier Osiris League, but still a lot of people like to open field, so it's hard to keep people so diligent on just sticking a troop in a structure and staying there.
As we start to see the Sky Altar from WIB being attacked yet again from 1718, being relentless on this outer lane altar. There is some response from WIB though, so they should have some reinforcement marches. We got the Heraclius YSS being the garrison of choice, it feels like, for both teams in their home structures here. Heraclius YSS just being super solid with mixed troop garrisons, allowing you to fill with whatever troop is possible. And that's what you need in these situations where you just need the structure to be filled, right? You just need the structure to be full. So that's why Heraclius YSS, this mixed troop garrison, is a garrison of choice for both of these teams. As we start to see the Sky Altar, garrison changed to Jan, and the structure is down. 1718 able to flip the Sky Altar yet again for WIB here. But WIB able to take the Desert Altar in response. So it's been like a trade of structures between these two teams, and that's how you know it's a high skill level game of Arc of Osiris, of Osiris League, is when there are just trades between these two teams. It's nothing's for free. Just consistent pressure throughout the map for both teams here.
Yeah, very sound teams, as you were saying, and just kind of going back and trading punches. I'll take your structure, I'm going to take it back. Here we go, I'm going to go take your structure now, you're going to take it back. So WIB is definitely doing a good job, still kind of inching up. 2,300 point difference now. They're closing in on that 3,500 point differential mark that they kind of need to get around, while 1718 still holds this arc for at least another 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes left on this arc hold, which means that there will be a third arc. There will be a third arc that spawns. With 3 minutes 45 seconds, that'll be about like 14 minutes, 8 minutes until arc spawns. So there'll be like a solid 6 minutes of arc fighting potentially, which is more than enough time to capture an arc.
Plenty of time, absolutely.
So this game is not over for either team right now. Like, this game's so close to the point where even when the arc is captured, that final arc could make or break a game. WIB is trying to make sure that they make the point differential. They keep extending this point differential so that by the time this arc is captured, the points will essentially be even between both teams. As we start to see here, the point differential between both teams keeps opening up for WIB. WIB being 2.5k down currently.
A little bit of provisions already starting to trickle in for WIB. 500 provision points. So again, don't sleep on those. Okay,
we got provisioners from WIB. Might be the difference in this game with how close it's been. As we start to see both teams kind of stabilize their structures yet again. Only difference being the Shrine of Life taken from 1718's side. So 1718 definitely showing that they have a really good grasp of the structures here. Even though WIB's been winning in the points per minute and trying to gaining points on 1718. But that was essentially what the trade was. That second arc for a bit of a point lead, but now 1718 is they're all stabilized. As we see hard push used by WIB. So WIB allocating these points, hard push, which is 3 points. So definitely trying to get back these structures, trying to,
think it's
make
a good
this
time.
point lead.
I think it's a good timing call, knowing that there's only about a minute and a half left that this arc is going to be held. So within that time span of a minute and a half, and then the next arc spawn, they should make those 3 points back up.
As we start to see the sneaky 1718 marches in the outer lane here, trying to make sure that WIB can't see them when they try to swarm the altar here. We start to see the rally walk up, and you'll see this outer lane be used by these teams so that their swarmers could be safe and healthy and swarm with the rally. We start to see, you know, these WIB marches. Valiant Stand, there you go. You're talking about Valiant Stand. Valiant Stand used on the Sky Altar of 1718, and nice in the response. Meanwhile, we start to see the WIB Sky Altar be pressured as well, with those secret swarmers we were talking about coming in the backside and starting to swarm. Meanwhile, the WIB Murder Ball itself is also getting swarmed down by the 1718 Murder Ball that was in the front there as well. So
great play from 1718 there, and even walking up with a nice Herman Tamiris for a pretty big significant debuff onto the garrison. All that skill damage taken increased as it does go down. Very nice play from 1718.
And that's how 1718 has been taking these Sky Altars. By the way, this Murder Ball here is looking like a mid-fight for this Desert Altar. This is an extra mid-fight that we got. Arc was captured by 1718, so we have 7 minutes 30 seconds until Arc spawns. We see WIB trying to do this pincer maneuver. We have the swarmers from WIB on this bottom side here, making sure that they could swarm this Desert Altar. Kind of the same thing that 1718 did to the Sky Altar. As we start to see these open field marches, if you're 1718 here, like what's the plan? You swarm down the rally, right?
Yeah, swarm the rally and just reinforce that thing. There was the Valiant Stand used, but I don't think that's still active, and hard push might have just gotten a few last ticks in there. But yeah, I think you got to get that rally down. Start pumping that Desert Altar. Almost 6 minutes 45 seconds left until Arc. So I think going into this, you want to make sure you're as stable as possible. This last arc is going to determine the match. So
look how low this structure is. If 1718 is able to hold this, it's one smidgen. It's one small bar.
The entire time too.
There you go. Heraclius down. Heraclius is down. So WIB able to take this Desert Altar.
I think this is okay. There's still a little bit of time. Go back, get your structure back. It's a trade-off right now. And then start getting ready for this arc fight. This is going to be everything. Ooh.
Yeah, I think this arc fight makes or breaks the game. It is still 12 minutes left, so they definitely need to still take back their Desert Altar. They can't just give it to WIB for free. Same thing with the WIB with the Sky Altar. They're trying to take back the Sky Altar as well. But I think whoever wins, if things stabilize here, the structures have been pretty stable. Whoever wins this mid-fight, the next arc might win the game here.
Massive presence from 1718. This is, oh my gosh, this is going to be insane. There's so much pressure still being put onto these structures, knowing that this arc, that people should start heading to arc almost now. And just having so much pressure still constantly on all these structures. This is gonna be an insane finish, Blotto.
And this is indeed going to be a nail biter. It is already a nail biter. So in the chat, let us know, which team do you think is gonna win? Put WIB exclamation point if you think WIB is gonna win, and put 1718 in the chat if you think 1718 is gonna win. I told you this match is gonna be a close one. 1718 just playing the structures really well, and WIB responding. It's been kind of like a tango, a back and forth. You take the Sky Altar, we take the Desert Altar. We're holding the Desert Altar, you're holding the Sky Altar. Although I might have caster cursed it. Let's see, the Desert Altar being so low. But it does look like WIB have the troops, have the people around this Desert Altar to hold it. Does 1718 have enough marches still here to swarm it? We see a Scipio Garrison in here. That's not good. The altar did fall.
Any garrison for 1718, or are they just purely going to deny points here? They gotta go move and clear these troops. You can see them. You can see them beelining 4 cities. They got to kill those troops off and get them to the middle. They can't waste any time on those.
And in the meanwhile, WIB is like, okay, with those troops are trying to sad face for the mid fight. We're gonna just ignore those guys and go straight mid. So this shows that WIB will have the tempo, have the pressure for this mid fight, which might win them the game.
Oh, this is gonna be nuts.
It is going to be a really close one. Look at all of these marches trying to sad face as fast as possible. And this is a strategy you see in Ark of Osiris all the time. You sad face, hit a city, try to rotate mid. You start to see these WIB marches also rotating back, and it looks like it'll be a full send from both teams here.
Yep.
But you could see the people that were at the desert altar are sad facing. The people at the sky altar are refreshing. So I think this will be WIB favored. WIB just having a pulse on this rotation, able to make the sky altar marches have to walk back home. This is essentially, if you're doing sad face back home, this is a walk of shame because of how long it takes to rotate back from the altar to mid. We're talking, this is like an L here. You have to walk halfway to the map with 2 minutes 30 seconds left. 1718 is like, okay, WIB has more reinforcements coming in. We have to go now. They use all 3 skills. They use Dust Up, Total Vision, and Bog Down. WIB in response using Bog Down and To the Death. So let us see which team will win this mid fight. This mid fight means everything for these two teams. The game being dead even, meaning that these 400 points, 4,000 points rather, will win either team the game here.
1718 does. Oh, they did have an altar in hand from WIB, but I don't even think altars are going to matter right now. Everything needs to be on this arc, which is, it was odd to me to see some 1718 marches still kind of focusing on structure, as it looks like 1718 is getting cleared out quite considerably here.
Wow. Whoa. This is huge from WIB. This is huge. 1718. They have the reinforcements. These are the late reinforcements that came from the desert altar, that came from the sky altar. So they do have a little bit of a second win here, but their second win might just be going in one by one to their deaths here. WIB looking like they're clearing this murder ball. All the sad faces pretty much coming from 1718. Look at the sad face train, the lines of sad faces from 1718.
Gotta say though too, the dust up is really nice, because even as all the skills have already pretty much subsided, I think that dust up is still working in favor for 1718 right now for those marches that are coming in a little bit late. But I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, 1718 just got decimated in this mid fight. And in my opinion, that just came down to rotations. That just came down to timings. And WIB, they were able to kind of out-rotate, out-time 1718 with their pressure here.
Yeah, I think you saw that on that top side desert altar take from 1718. As soon as that thing was taken, I've never seen troops turn and move faster than those guys did. They knew that they were a little bit late and that they needed to get back as soon as possible.
Now, this isn't WIB's arc yet. Does 1718 have a contingency plan? Do they have some marches in the back here trying to snipe this double C? It is T1. So
that thing's going to be flying.
It is T1. It's going to be flying, but it's also going to be very squishy. So will WIB be able to hold this arc, or will there be a hero from 1718 that could save them this game? as Arc is going to be spawning in 10 seconds.
Even a denial at this point, even just causing them to fumble the arc and just, you know, eat up that 5 minutes of time needed to deliver the arc, even that would be enough in this scenario. Potentially.
We got Papa Boba with the arc carry of their lives. Will they be able to score this arc? Or will 1718 be able to snipe it? We start to see people brute forcing from the front door, people coming through the back door. It all comes down to this arc. 5 minutes to capture this arc. As you said, as the game currently stands, 1718 would win. So 1718's win conditions is to deny this arc or capture it themselves. WIB, they have to capture it, but they do have control around the arc as the arc carrier gets insta-popped here. Now, will 1718 be able to bring some marches here?
This is exactly how I lost in Osiris League to advance to, I think it was a round of 8 to Osiris Leagues ago, just not being able to deliver an arc and losing by a couple 100 points.
See, Papa Boba, or Popa Boba, with another pull. These pulls are absolutely huge. If you're 1718 in this case, as soon as that arc spawns, you have to start tapping it. You have to start tapping it.
Yep.
The reason being,
Absolutely.
even if you don't move it, it denies the arc for another 20 seconds. Because it denies the 10 seconds that they tried capturing the arc. It denies the 10 seconds that they'll have to take again to take the arc back from the floor as you fall. But it does look like WIB, these arc carriers being so determined, so persistent, able to drag it slowly but surely, and that's all they need. As we start to see a rally coming to the Shrine of War, and making sure that WIB can't capture it through the Shrine of War. WIB, seeing this, starting to reinforce this shrine, meanwhile also holding this arc. We're seeing both teams, everyone holding hands, walking through side by side to this arc.
Oh my god, 3 minutes left. Come on.
We have 3 minutes left,
man.
as you called out. 3 minutes to walk 15 meters. 15 kilometers. Will WIB be able to hold this? Will they be able to capture this? Or will 1718 be able to keep the status quo and win the game here? WIB, the hero XY, walking towards this shrine of war.
A lot of presence from WIB right now. Oh man, it's not looking good for 1718.
1718's marches are around their own desert altar. But it looks like WIB having complete control of this arc. If this arc carrier gets into this is over. We have 19 seconds. We have 3 seconds. Will they be able to get into the shrine? And they
There
did.
it is.
They did. WIB
GG's.
with the point advantage. 2.3k advantage to WIB. In the meanwhile, they also captured the desert altar. But a huge play resulting from their great rotations to mid in that third arc fight. 1718 having to sad face and walk back in this top side, showing the tail between the two teams for that last mid fight, which resulted to WIB being able to capture this arc. Is there any chance that 1718 has 2k points worth of provisions?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen. Maybe it looks like they have started to scramble some provisions out. They need to start recalling them now. It's going to be a tall task. I think in any case, though, this is a huge lesson for 1718 and really helps them moving into the knockout rounds if they don't have the provisions. And even if they do and they're able to sneak this win out real quick with some provisions, this is exactly what you want before you head into the knockout rounds. You had nothing to lose here. It was only going to better your seeding a little bit. But at least now you know there's some things that you need to work on. There's some things you need to tweak. So I think this match has definitely taught 17-18 a lot and can definitely help them moving forward into the later rounds.
Yeah, 17-18. It was so close, and I love the fact that they I guess they knew WIB would go super early for that first arc. They're like, okay, we'll just go building game, and then they flipped it halfway through and they went structures for that second arc, and WIB was like, hey, wait, I thought you guys were going building. I thought you guys would be out here. They weren't, so they had to flip it, and that's how they got their lead. If WIB held that first arc all the way through, it would have been 17-18's game, because then there wouldn't be a third arc. But because WIB captured that arc early, it gave time for there to be a third arc. 17-18 held to the last second, trying to make it so that it'd be a 2-arc game, to no avail. WIB able to win that third arc, which eventually won them the game, as we start to see 17-18 walk over to the Shrine of War, where the arc was captured.
The walk of shame.
But it is too little, too late. WIB emoting, and they will be happy with this win. But at the same time, as you said, 17-18 shouldn't be ashamed of this performance, and they do have a lot to learn from as well.
I think as being a young team as they are, it's really nice to come in and fight a legacy team and really put it to them like this. This was a great showing.
GG's to both teams. We have Dead Cat from 17-18 with the constant. This is Centurion with 213k individual score. We could go ahead and see, even with provisions, WIB had 1.6k worth of provisions. One from that arc score, though, 7k to 3.5k ended up being the difference there. Occupation score going towards 17-18, so that last arc really did make the difference. GG's to both teams for the game, and congrats to both of them for making it to the round of 16. WIB taking the first seed, 17-18 taking that second seed. So it should be a really interesting game, or round of 16 for Horus and for the rest of the realms here. As Dirty Dan, do you have any final notes?
No, just a great match. Definitely good to see a nice little bit of a nail biter for the last match of the day for the official Rise of Kingdoms cast. And just want to say it was a pleasure hopping on with you, my friend, and hope to do it again.
And with that, be sure to subscribe to the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, this channel here, for more Osiris League contests, for more Osiris League content and Ark of Osiris content. And if you want to see more Rise of Kingdoms content, our channels are in the description too. And we'll catch you guys later.